Welcome back to the best damn training channel on YouTube. Today's week 5 of the summer speed program. So that means we are going to be ramping up the intensities, lifting a little bit heavier in the weight room, sprinting longer distances, and maybe doing a little bit more volume on the track. Another thing that I've done during the next 4 weeks during this block is because the intensity has ramped up. We're going to be focusing on putting up higher efforts in each of the training sessions. I've gone away from the format that we did for the first 4 weeks, which was going to be sprinting and lifting on the same days. I've separated those throughout the week now to where I'm going to be sprinting separately from my lower body days in order to make sure that I can maintain quality and maintain intensity on each of those separate sessions throughout the course of a week. So rather than sprinting as hard as I can, doing a lot of volume in the track, and then going into the weight room that same day, trying to lift heavier percentages faster, more explosively, by splitting those up, that's going to allow me to maintain intensity in the weight room, maintain intensity on the track, and not have one of those start to take away too much from the other due to too much high intensity work within a single session and within a single day. So sprinting is the only thing we're going to be doing today. Format for this is very similar to what we've done for the previous sprint sessions on a Monday. We're focusing on the acceleration. We're extending that distance out now where we're going to be running some 40s. So I'm going to be doing a sled sprint, and then we've got some acceleration work to do after we do the sled sprint. I'm changing up the sled sprint specifically today. And for the next 4 weeks on every Monday, we're only going to be having 10 kilos on the sled. So roughly 10% body weight on the sled versus 15 kilos for the first 4 weeks. And we're also going to start in a 2-point stance. And the reason I want to start in a 2-point stance is because the weight is lighter and I'm going to be running 20-ish meters on each of these repetitions. I want to focus more on like that mid to late acceleration phase. So starting in a 2-point stance is going to allow me to be a little bit more upright as I begin this sprinting with the sled and focus specifically on like the 10 to 20, 20 to 30 type ranges when we're looking at like the mechanics of how this sprint should look. So rather than going from a 3-point stance and accelerating very low and working on that first 10, we're taking out that first 10, or at least we're taking out the focus of trying to develop that first 10, and we're trying to develop that later acceleration. So from 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So what I'm going to do is a 2-point stance, and we're going to sprint 20 meters here, and then we'll go from our normal stance and we'll do another 20 meter after that. So we'll do 3 to 4 reps on this. Then we're going to do some 30s, and then we're going to do some 40s. And I'm really interested about the 40 today because I have a 30 to 40 meter section set up, and I want to know what that mile an hour is going to be from 30 to 40, because the weeks previously from 20 to 30, we've been hitting like low 22 mile an hour. So ideally what I would like to see is that 30 to 40, maybe not today, but in the weeks coming, 30 to 40 meters should be getting closer to 23, with like high 22s, low 23s if everything's progressing in the way that I think it should be. So I'm going to strap it up. We're going to get going and knock out the first 20 meter sprint here with the 10 kilo sled. All right, first one, decent. Didn't feel the greatest, but we're going to turn the timing eye on and we're going to run a 20 here and see what a 0 to 20 is. So one thing I'm going to do as well is, because the number of timing eyes I have is limited, as we start this next phase, I'm no longer going to be measuring 0 to 10. I'm going to be measuring 0 to 20, and then 20 to 30, 30 to 40. That way I can start to move these cones further down the track, and I can get my mile an hour and my times for the later end of these 10 meter sections. So like I said, no longer specifically focusing on 0 to 10. We're going to go 0 to 20, and then we got 20 to 30, 30 to 40. But for the next one here, we're just measuring out the 0 to 20s first. All right, so I just did my last sled sprint, and we're going to move on to the 30. So rather than doing my last 20 and 20, We're going to go 20-meter sled sprint, which we just did. And then we're going to start with our 30s here because my coach is here and she's telling me I'm not running fast enough and we need to finish this workout because we have other things we need to do today. So we're going to start off with the 30s, 0 to 20 for the first time, 20 to 30 for the second time, and then we have 0 to 30, so we'll get the full 30 time on this. All right, we're starting to get slower as the day's going here right now. So first rep was like a 396, I think. I'd have to look at the phone, I don't remember. And then I just ran a 399. What I'm seeing happening is the 20s are getting slower, and then it's just there's not enough speed to carry through 20 to 30. So I ran like a 106 on that first 20 to 30, and I think it was like a 107 or 108 on that second one. So I'm gonna run another 30. Hopefully clean it up a little bit. I'd like to get down into the 390s flat or like high 380s. I don't think that's going to be there. Like dropping a tenth from a 399 right now, I don't think is going to happen. I think what's happening is it's just fatigue, which is fine because the intensities are still there. I'm still sprinting regardless of what the times are saying right now. I might just chalk up today as it's just a bump in the road as we progress into this phase of intensity. But it's also solidifying the fact that I'm splitting up the lifting and the sprinting and not doing both of those sessions on a single day because I don't know how well a lifting session would go after this sprint session right now. But it is a lot of volume considering it's an acceleration day. I'm already on rep number 8 right now. So I did 3 reps with the sled, 3 reps without the sled, and then this is rep 7 or 8 or so. So the fatigue is just setting in a little bit, but we're going to do another 30, hopefully clean this up a little bit and get something a little bit more respectable for that 30. I'd like to see another low 390, like as close to 390 flat as I can get right here, and I'll be happy with that. And then we'll do the 40s, which I'm not expecting anything spectacular now for the 40s from what I'm seeing on these 30s, but we'll knock off another 30 here. Okay, I got 2 left and then I'll be done. All right, so I got marginally faster on the last 30. Now I'm gonna do my 240s, but I'm gonna count these as quantity reps and not quality reps. We're just gonna get 40 meters in and see what happens because this is week 1 and all we can do is get some slow times today and then improve on them next week. All right, so I think I'm gonna call it quits there. I was gonna do some broad jump variations. I don't feel like doing it right now. My legs are fried. I did a lot of volume and sprints today after a deload week and after a couple of days off. To be honest, I thought the 20s felt decent. And then as soon as I did that first 30, I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be there today. We'll just chalk it up, like I said, a little bump in the road as we were moving towards 24 miles an hour. I was looking at the miles an hour on that, and the fastest I was able to hit is like from 30 to 40, I was hitting 21.1. So I was like 105 on those, which is what I was hitting previously pretty consistently in the last training block from 20 to 30. So that explosive power, that pop, that spring in the step is just not there today. So take a couple days. Tomorrow we're going to lift. I'll film that for you guys. Do some tempo work and some upper body on Wednesday. I'm going to film that as well. And then we get back onto the track on Thursday. And we're going to do some more sprinting, longer distances. And we're going to see what we can do on some of those sprints. Hopefully get the legs back underneath us. I feel really good when it comes Thursday. Get another sprint session in. And then if I need to, we'll make adjustments for the week following on the format of the sprinting sessions, or maybe we change up the distances and the volumes on everything so I can hit the intensities where I want them to be. And that'll be a game time call once we get into the weekend and I review this week and see what I want to do for the next week coming up. But Day 1, week 5, summer speed is finito. I would say overall, I'm at like a 6.8 out of 10 in terms of how I feel about today's session. But that's how days go sometimes. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. See you guys tomorrow. We're going to be in the weight room. We're going to start lifting some heavy weights and start feeling good again.